category. Our next speaker is the daughter of missionary parents. She has three sisters, I believe that's correct, yes. She is a gospel singer. She has lived all over the world, learned multiple languages, many cultures, and she loves empowering and giving back through her stories. My friends, please give your warm welcome and applause coming to the stage, our next storyteller, Phebe Babcock.
So this was 1991. My father gets a call while he was praying to go to Soviet Union. So he takes off by himself to Estonia, which was still under the communism regime, and he goes and gathers young people there by himself and starts a little training center in the middle of nowhere, in the quiet, in the hidden space. These kids, they were 18 years old, they didn't know how to close their eyes, they were like afraid to pray. Is the KGB gonna watch them? But he said, no, follow what I do, just imitate me. 3 months later, communism falls. My mother and my sisters, they fly out there to meet my dad. A month later, my dad comes out to pick me up. We take the plane, Aeroflot, Russian plane, the worst plane I've ever had. I was like, what was I getting myself into? But I was super excited because now I'm going to a country with 4 seasons. I'm gonna see snow. I'm from Singapore, the tropics. Super excited, wanting to see this adventure. And we land in Moscow, and we're about to take a 12-hour train ride to Estonia. Everything was great. I didn't know what was about to take place. I didn't know what I was going to encounter from then on. 3 months later, I walk in the streets, drunkenness all around the street, the smell of pee, the smell of alcohol, zombie humans walking aimlessly around the street, old ladies begging, pожалуйста, пожалуйста. They want you to buy their underwear. They want you to buy their old toothbrush. Help me, help me. There was no hope. The government had just given, they just went off. No one was helping them. All the foreigners left. And I walked on the streets crying. I'm like, what's going to happen to these people? There was just nothing. Soviet Union had just failed. There was no one to take care of these people. What are we going to do? They're completely lost. And my father decides to stay. He says, we're going to stay here as a family. And the students that he had trained prior, he took them to the streets and said, let's start preaching in the streets. Let's talk about hope. Let's talk about salvation. And they began to go in the streets and speak and speak and speak. And people began to gather. We began to sing songs of hope. And tons of people started together, and we began to start a congregation, weekly congregation. My father would gather 60 of them, and he says, I will train you for free, 3 months, and make you a leader in 3 months. And in 3 months, he trained 60 leaders, send them out to do the same thing. And that's when hope increased, and everybody heard about this man. And they're like, we want to know this man. Teach us to be leaders. And then the threats came. The threats came. I don't know who they were, KGB. And they wanted to kidnap my sister. They wanted to just destroy him. And they started to write about him, warning about him. So we couldn't stay long in a city. But the great thing about it was, because they were chasing us, we would stay 3 months in a place and leave to another city. It made us just travel. So we could go to new cities, train more people, and just go around Estonia and Russia. We traveled 22 times back and forth in Russia in 3 years. And finally, my father said, it's time to settle down, and we go to the Netherlands. And little did I know that the season in Europe would be the last season that my family would be together. 21 years old in Singapore, I work in the Israeli embassy, and I decided to go to Siberia. And on the 10th day, I get a call from my father, Phoebe, when are you coming home? My mom had just passed away. 14 years later, I'm in Las Vegas. I get a call from my sister, Phoebe, are you sitting? Dad just passed away. So 3 weeks ago, I go meet my boyfriend. I see lipstick stain on his pillowcase. I knew there was another woman. I quit my job at the church. I crashed my car completely. This was 3 weeks ago, or 4 weeks. And I get a phone call from Bernalyn. Hey, you gotta go to this power lunch. And then I got a call. My son attempted suicide 3 times. And now he's in a mental hospital. And I said, okay, I'll come to power lunch. And I meet Bill Walsh, coach. I meet Christoph. I said, hey, I think I should speak, but I don't know how to speak. I've never spoken. I'm a gospel singer. My dad was a speaker. My mom was a speaker. Well, I just joined the competition. And here I stand because of a coach, because I have a story to tell. And the power of coaching, the power of speaking. My dad changed the world because he dared to show up and stand up before people that are not of his own, and he changed a nation. And here am I standing up with my son in the hospital, no car, no job, by faith, getting coached by Bill Walsh because I have a story to tell. So if you want to get me to the next round, I'll continue my story because I got more.